child in school, and you can have every child complete the program. But will they have a quality education? An education that we can be proud of, that we know will be productive, that will lead to employment, to higher education, etc. That's going to be the challenge when we complete the 2015 target of getting every child through basic education.
Let's talk about education, Mrs. Sawyer, for a minute. A good education. You talk about quality. In a few words, what is a good education?
Look, a child coming out of basic education in Ghana, let's look at the JSS. Yeah. When a child comes out, I think he should be a confident reader in English and writer, should be able to read a daily graphic and understand what is in the newspaper, and should have similar numerical skills, should be numerate up to the same level, and have a
numerate meaning
arithmetic. He should have a mathematical knowledge similar to the level of fluency in the English language and reading, and also should have a fairly decent grounding in science. Because many children, as you know, leave JSS and cannot read at all. They can barely write their names.
Why, Mrs. Sawyer? It's the teachers, right?
It's
the system.
It's the system.
What?
It's teachers, logistics. Quite often, until this year, there were no textbooks in many schools. The core subjects in all schools are English, mathematics, and science. So these are the books that the government has printed. And they are using these books in...
Are they good? Are they good? Have you seen them?
They are... Mathematics books, I think, are adequate. I think there are problems with the teaching of English because children are not taught to read in many of the public schools. They're taught English. And English and reading are not exactly the same thing. So I think...
They're not taught to read.
They're not taught to read.
Very interesting. What do you mean?
Well, the books concentrate a lot on grammar rather than reading. My view is that in the first, second, third year of primary school, whatever language children are learning, they should learn to read the language fluently before you start introducing the more technical aspects like parts of speech, what is a sentence, etc. And I think this is one of the issues that needs to be addressed. Of course, it needs a lot of logistics. To teach reading well, let's say in a public school where you're teaching English as the first language, because many of the urban schools use English as the medium of instruction. They are not using the vernacular.
Is that a good thing?
Well, it depends. I mean, I know there are different views on this policy.
Yeah. What is your view on that policy?
My view is that we should introduce English as early as possible, so that all children have an equal opportunity, because the system is competitive. Remember, at the end of JSS, you have to pass an examination to go on to the senior secondary school. If you don't pass well, you're not going to get a place, and the examination is in English. At the moment, even those who pass this examination may not always get a place.
Because there are not enough places.
There are not enough places. But then, if we want to absorb all children up to 18, we will have to find places for all children. And maybe not test as much at the lower level. Not test competitively.
Let them come further up before you start.
Test for analysis, but not for competition, not to remove people from the system.
Test for analysis,
to see how they're doing, yes. The assessment rather than to eliminate. And so that all children will go right through the system to SS. And then at that point, I think then it is fair to have some kind of assessment for further education. No country guarantees that every 18-year-old can go into higher education.